I used to say love wasn't real, that it was just a story people told themselves so they wouldn't feel alone. But then I met him, and now I can't forget the man I swore I'd never fall for. My name is Nora. I'm 28. For most of my life, I've been the kind of woman who never believed in grand gestures or soulmates. My parents' marriage fell apart before I turned 10, and I watched my mother cry over a man who'd already moved on. After that, I promised myself I'd never give anyone that kind of power. Love was a trick, I told myself, a beautiful illusion that always ended in pain. Then came Evan. We met at a friend's game night. Nothing romantic, just a small group board games and laughter. He wasn't loud or flashy. He didn't try to impress anyone. He just had this calm, grounded energy that drew me in. When he laughed, it wasn't forced. When he listened, it was real. At first, I didn't think much of it. He was nice, sure, but I'd met nice before, and nice never lasted. Still, I found myself texting him afterward, joking about the game, the food, random things. He'd reply with something thoughtful, funny, warm. Slowly, without realizing it, he became part of my everyday. We started seeing each other more. Coffee on Saturdays, long walks, late-night conversations about music, dreams, and fears. One night he said, "You're hard to read, Nora. I can't tell if you're scared or just not interested." I laughed and said, "I just don't believe in love. It's not my thing." He smiled softly. "Maybe you just haven't met the right version of it yet." I shrugged it off. It sounded like another cliche, but something in his eyes made me pause, like he really meant it. Months went by, and my walls began to crack. I noticed the way he remembered small things I said, the way he'd show up with my favorite coffee when I was stressed, the way he looked at me. Not like someone to fix or win over, but like someone he already saw as enough. Still, I kept my distance. Every time he got too close, I pulled away. If he said something sweet, I made a joke. If he talked about the future, I changed the subject. Then one night, we were sitting on his couch watching some old movie I can't even remember now. He turned to me and said, "You know, I'm falling for you." My chest tightened. My instinct was to run. "Don't," I said quickly. "Why not?" he asked softly. "Because love isn't real, Evan. People think it is, but it never lasts. It just hurts. I don't want to pretend." He looked at me for a long time. Then he nodded slowly and said, "Okay." He didn't argue. He didn't beg me to believe him. He just accepted it. That was the last real conversation we had. After that, things changed. He stopped texting good morning. He stopped making plans. When we did talk, it was polite, distant. I told myself it was better this way. No attachments, no risk, no pain. But the silence hurt more than I expected. Weeks passed, and one day I saw on social media that he had taken a trip with someone new, a woman smiling beside him in every photo. They looked happy, effortlessly happy. I stared at those pictures for what felt like hours, my chest burning with something I didn't want to name. Jealousy? Regret? Maybe both. I tried distracting myself with work, friends, anything, but it didn't help. Everywhere I went, something reminded me of him. His favorite song playing in a cafe. The smell of the coffee he used to bring me. The movie we never finished. That's when I realized it. I had loved him. Maybe not in the fairy tale way I mocked, but in the quiet, real way that sneaks up on you. And I had pushed it away before I could even admit it to myself. So I reached out, just a simple message. "Hey, how have you been?" He replied a few hours later. Asterisk, "I've been good. Hope you're well, too." Asterisk. That was it. No warmth. No invitation. No trace of the man who once looked at me like I was his whole world. I wanted to ask him everything. If he missed me, if he ever thought about what we had. But I didn't. I had already lost the right to those answers. A few weeks later, I ran into him downtown. He looked happy, lighter. The woman from his photos was with him. She reached for his hand, and he held it without hesitation. He smiled when he saw me. Polite, kind, distant. The same way I used to smile at him when I was pretending not to care. That's when it hit me. This is what it feels like to be on the other side of my own walls. To watch someone you love walk away because you convinced them there was nothing worth staying for. Since then, I've replayed that moment on the couch in my head over and over. I wish I'd told him the truth, that I was scared, that love terrified me because losing it terrified me even more, that I believed in it more than I wanted to admit, but I didn't trust myself to keep it. Now, when I tell people I don't believe in love, I stop myself because I do believe in it. I just learned too late. Love isn't the problem. Fear is. Fear of vulnerability. Fear of being hurt. Fear of being seen. I let that fear take the one person who made me feel safe enough to let it go. I haven't heard from him since that day. Maybe he's married now. Maybe he's somewhere building a life I could have been part of. If I just said, I believe you. Every night before bed, I still catch myself thinking about him. Not in a desperate way, but in a quiet acknowledgement of what I lost. The irony isn't lost on me. The woman who didn't believe in love now can't forget the man who proved it existed. So here I am, learning to live with regret, learning to forgive myself, and trying to believe again, even if it's just in small, everyday ways. Because love is real. It was real when he looked at me across that room, when he laughed at my sarcasm, when he told me he was falling for me. It was real, and I let it go. And maybe that's my punishment, not losing him, but finally understanding what I had only after was gone.